Good evening all. So we have come back with a very interesting topic and useful and beneficial for many people and many young people across the globe. Craft. And what do we mean by craft and why it's good for us to learn a few crafts in our lives. And craft is about being professional at a particular job that might involve using your hands or using tools in a professional way, and it can help you to get some work, and it can help you to do some work. It can help you to start your professional life in a way or another. So on this topic I shall talk. So let's start. So craft, a lot of people think about craft in terms of the material that people will be using during this craft. So some people will be thinking about wood, that you will be using wood, and they will think that you will become a carpenter. However, there are different crafts that is associated with wood. Some of them, for example, you could be doing some formwork carpenter that is being part of a construction site, or you can be a carpenter who's involved in doing furniture and household items. So even how to deal with a particular material involves you being capable of doing a number of crafts. Another way of looking at things is through metal. So you can be actually a blacksmith who is actually doing small iron related items. Could be a steel door or a guided or a steel rail or so on. And it could be something that is much more complex, like welding a submarine undersea, or welding some kind of welding complex objects, or even welding two objects from two different materials. So even the level of complexity for a particular craft or for a particular job can vary from one person to another. That's my another material that you can be using is could be textile, and you can become a tailor, and you can be a fashion designer. So it depends on your level of thought and your level of professionalism and your level of creativity, your craft. It depends where your craft can take you. Another jobs related to agriculture can actually called crafts, by being a simple farmer, or being someone who's responsible for hydroponics, or maybe someone who's responsible for some kind of fertilizers or so on. It can be something that is really specialized. It can be something that is really general. It depends on the complexity of the market that you are working on and the jobs that is available. And of course, windows, textiles, and aluminium use another material can be glass and aluminium. You can be making simple windows, and maybe you can be working on something that is much more complex in terms of glass. So that's one way of looking at things. You would be making small windows and attach them to different buildings, or maybe you would be working on something that is more complex. Of course, textile. We talked about textile, clay. You can do some ceramic items, and you can be part of let me say, a ceramic factory, but also you can be someone who's working on ceramics and doing some fine artwork with clay and so on. That's about the material. So if you look at crafts that is being involved before a chef, being a chef and good with food, also some kind of craft that some people like to do, and some people would be enjoying doing also. But being a chef comes at different levels. You can be a chef working in a small restaurant, and also you can be a chef working in a very big hotel with a big team underneath you. So it depends on how professional you are. It depends on your different capabilities of doing things, and your reputation and so on. So it depends on where your craft and character can take you. Another the famous crafts, because construction industry or buildings are the most important items that is being created in our region in general. So there are a number of crafts that is being involved in doing a particular building. So those can include a painter, a bricklayer, or a tile layer, or a tiles layer, a blacksmith, a carpenter, a plumber, or someone who deal with pipes and so on. with pipes network. You can have someone aluminium and glass technician, and also you can someone that is specialized in uh, in isolation material, and by isolation I mean water uh, water isolation and heat isolation. So this is another craft that you might be looking at. Another crafts can be associated with electronics crafts, and these crafts are declining with time as people are replacing their electronics related items rather than by buying new ones rather than trying to fix them. So if you are specialized in fixing TVs or fixing videos or fixing maybe satellites and so on, I think this kind of craft is declining with time as people tend to replace their electronics items instead of maintaining them, and the industry is looking forward to create items that is less that will not need maintenance at all, but will be replaced without being maintained. That some crafts are related to media, like printing printing a billboard, or hanging a signboard in front of a shop, or printing a signboard. Also, there are other media. There are crafts that is associated with media, but at a smaller level. These kinds of crafts are something like using a CAD software, or becoming a CAD operator for a particular job, or for a particular media assignment. Personally, I might be thinking about these crafts, and people think about them that it's a job that requires a lot of knowledge. It depends on whether you make your decision based on knowledge, or whether you make your decision based on your training and your craft on doing things. So if you ask me, would you define a craft? I would say it's a job or a professional that you will become better with that job by doing it physically more. While you would always be better at jobs by doing them more, but I think if you are doing them physically more, that your hand gets used to it than your brain, or you are used to use a particular tool, I would call it a craft. That was my quick talk on crafts. I wish you a great evening. It's good to know a craft or two in your life. It can be useful. It can help you to get a job, and you may be doing some work using that craft for some time. I wish you a great evening, and I shall say salam. Salam.